In medical news tonight, the deep freeze. This is primarily about the quest for a second life, an ancient goal which scientists are always pursuing. We've been looking into the future of medicine where the unbelievable is becoming at least remotely possible, such as freezing the dead in order to raise them. Here's ABC's Kevin Newman with medicine on the cutting edge.
This ambulance is designed for someone who's already dead. The urgency is to limit the damage dying does to the brain and the body so that someone, someday, might reverse it. 90 people in America are frozen, hoping to come back to life when medicine can cure them. Many of them are new cases in the past 3 years. To the handful of companies that charge from $28,000 to freeze them, these are optimistically called patients.
When did you get your most recent patient?
Today is Thursday. Our most recent patient came in this last Saturday.
She was, or is, a 90-year-old woman who suffered a heart attack and who is now inside this box cooling to minus 40 degrees with the help of ice and chemicals injected to minimize damage. After a week, she's going to be moved into this chamber and cooled with liquid nitrogen to minus 310 degrees. And a week after that, she'll join the others inside these sealed vacuum chambers.
How many people would be in this largest chamber?
The largest chamber has 14 patients in it.
However, even with the precautions, ice crystals form during the freezing that injure the brain and organs, a problem research is reducing.
This is a gradual process, and we haven't had any dramatic breakthrough, but we are constantly improving.
If people are being frozen with less damage, there's still the problem of how do you bring them back to life? And in 30 years, nobody's found the answer. But now, some scientists think they may have one.
16th, 1977, Elvis Presley died at his home in Graceland. He was taken to the Baptist Memorial Hospital and later was buried in Memphis, Tennessee. Or was he?
Elvis Presley's first cousin remained close to the king throughout his life. He also did not believe that the body lying in state in the open coffin was that of his cousin, Elvis Presley.
When we viewed the body for the last time, I stood there quite a while looking at his hands, and of course he was always breaking bricks with his hands. He had calluses on the bottom of his hand and big old rough looking knuckles. His nose looked kind of puggy looking, and his right sideburn was sticking out straight out about an inch. And his hairline looked as if it had been a hairpiece, something glued on somewhere. It just didn't look right. And his hands was just as smooth as a newborn's baby's behind, you know. And it seemed like it was sweating around his hairline. It could have been sweat, it could have been glue, I don't know. But I just didn't believe it was him.
Sergio obtained a copy of Elvis's autopsy report. Together, Gail and I viewed this report. In 18 years, I've viewed many autopsy reports, and I've been present during several autopsies myself. So I'm very familiar with what goes on at an autopsy, and I'm very familiar with what goes in an autopsy report. In these reports, they're very comprehensive. They give organ weight and size, skin coloration. They give things like the percentage of blockage in the subject's cardiovascular system. They give the coloration of the skin, the weight of the person, whether or not there's any foul play or any evidence of foul play. And usually these autopsy reports are 40 or 50 pages long, and they're very in-depth. The autopsy report that I viewed with Gail is 2 pages long. It lacks any of the significant information that is normally found in an autopsy report. And during the course of any normal investigation, this autopsy report would be incomplete and unacceptable. It's my opinion that a coroner that would even present an autopsy report like this should probably be investigated himself.
Many have suggested that the body on view in the open casket at Elvis's wake was not Elvis Presley at all.
people that went by the body in the coffin were heard to say that does not look like Elvis Presley. They were saying the nose is pugged. Elvis had a very classical nose. They noticed beads of sweat on the body in the coffin, and, you know, dead bodies don't sweat.
Fans were still there who had seen Elvis lying in state, and they said it didn't look like him.
And the gravesite itself raises questions in Maria's mind.
Vernon spelled Elvis's name on the gravestone with 2 A's, even though he officially changed the spelling of his name on his birth certificate from 2 A's to 1 A. Also, Elvis went by 1 A. He signed his contract with 1 A. His marriage license had 1 A. His army papers had 1 A. Another thing that's unusual is the position of the burial plots. Elvis is not placed next to his mother. He is between his grandmother and Vernon. That is not what Elvis wanted in the first place, and the fans have been commenting about this quite a lot.
There's still a remaining insurance policy that is yet to be cashed. What is the significance of this? It's just this. The 3 life insurance policies that were cashed were paid up. There's no fraud involved. Those life insurance policies are owned by the insured. The 3rd policy, or the remaining policy I should say, was not paid up. If a surviving heir would cash in that policy and the person who was insured were still alive, that would be insurance.
How bodies already frozen can be repaired if they're ever thawed, which is also reassuring to those contemplating the process who wonder when they'll be able to come back. ABC News, Clinton Township, Michigan.